Hello, hi, thank you for clicking on this video, even though everyone else is posting this exact same video and you might be on the verge of burnout of watching them all. But I appreciate you for being here. My name is Paige. Welcome to my channel. So like every booktuber, I am doing the obligatory mid-year book tag, and like everybody else, I am trying to pick a different answer for every question. So you know what this is all about. Let's just jump right in. Question number one is, what is the best standalone you have read so far this year? So I really had to look at all of my standalones, and this one I did give the highest ratings of the standalones that I've read, and that was Warbreaker by Sanderson. And I might not remember all of the details, but this is about two sisters, one who was raised to marry a god king in their kingdom, I believe, and the other one who was just kind of a bit of a rebellious child who didn't really expect to inherit anything in her family, but one day their father decides to send the youngest sibling to marry the god king instead of the oldest sibling. So older sibling decides that she wants to go save the younger sibling, and the younger sibling is surviving within this kingdom that she's sent to. And I really enjoyed it. I read it over the course of a couple of days and I was really attached to both of the sisters. I really enjoyed watching their struggles and seeing how the different ways that they were raised really impacted them. So I do highly recommend this one. I just really enjoy Sanderson's writing. I think most people who have read his books do. But yeah, so far I would say this is the best standalone I've read, but I'm hoping that we find some other ones throughout the rest of the year. Question number two is, what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? And I have to say it. Hero of Ages. I am actually kind of disappointed that I read this book so early in the year, because I feel like it's set a trend for the rest of the readings that I have done this year to not be as great. I am comparing everything to how I felt about this book, and it is unfair to every other book that I have read so far this year. Genuinely, the only 5 stars I have given have been Sanderson books. It's a problem. So this is the ending to the Mistborn trilogy. If you don't know what that is, are you new to booktube? Hello, hi, welcome. But Mistborn is a series about people who have the ability to ingest metals or pull upon metals and get different abilities, and it's just so good. I really didn't know much going into the series. I was not spoiled for anything going in, and if you can manage that, I would say go in blind to the series, and when you get to this ending, everything is worth it. All of the slow moments, all of the really hard to understand moments where there's a lot of details thrown at you at once, all of the slow moments, because there's a lot, I'll say that again, all of the slow moments, they're all worth it. By the end, when I got to this, I just was overwhelmed with just how every detail came together, how everything played out. It was beautiful. I love this. I understand why everyone recommends this series. Question number 3 is, what is a new release you have not read yet but want to? I have so much FOMO with this book. I want to read it immediately, but I have other reading plans that I don't want to fall behind on. So I'm waiting to find the audiobook for this. I'm waiting for a day where I have free time to read this. I want to read it so badly. I heard it's amazing. I heard it's so cute. What I believe it is a kind of arranged marriage sort of deal in space with 2 boys, and it just sounds so good. It sounds like everything I will love. I might have heard that there's a little bit of enemies to lovers, but I can overlook that because everything else sounds so fun. So this is one that I definitely want to get to very, very soon. Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release in the second half of the year? And we know I have to say a TJ Klune, so I'm going to say Heatwave. It is the 3rd and final in the Extraordinaries trilogy, and I am just so excited. I love those characters so much. I think Nick and Seth are my favorite ship so far this year. I reread The Extraordinaries a couple weeks ago, and they just make me so happy. They are so cute and precious together, and it's just so much fun to read these wild and chaotic books that TJ Klune puts out. So I would say Heatwave is my most anticipated, and I believe it's coming out in a few days. Number 5 is the biggest disappointment this year. I hate to say it, I just don't think that this is a good book. I love the other Sandersons, like I said, that I have been reading, but this one, it's a struggle. I almost DNF'd it, and I didn't DNF it because I just want to know where some certain storylines end up. So I'm holding out hope that book 4 will be a lot better. But Skyward, if you don't know, is a sci-fi, and it's set on a different planet called Detritus, where these people from Earth have set up a whole new life there. They have built like underground homes because there are alien life forms who basically attack them if they come up to the surface, and these humans on this planet are trying to escape. So it's mainly following a girl named Spencer, and her father was part of the Starfleet who would go out and try and fight these aliens, and one day her father turned on his teammates. I don't know if that's the correct word. He basically turned, and he was branded a coward after he was shot down, and so she was branded as a coward's daughter, and she still wants to prove that her father was not the person that they thought he was, and she wants to become a pilot like him and go out and fight these alien forces. And the first book was just amazing. It really followed her journey through struggling with her entire planet basically branding her a coward, all of the pushback that she got from trying to become a pilot. We watched them become a pilot. There's high stakes involved in this pilot program, and it was just a great book overall. Book 2 wasn't as great. We met a bunch of new characters. Some were really fun, some were kind of annoying, but it still felt like it was pushing the story along in a way that felt understandable. But this book, I was just so confused. I didn't care about the more new characters that we were meeting, and it was just hard to get into and hard to want to continue reading if it weren't for a few plot lines that I want to see play out in the final book. So like I said, holding out hope that book 4 will be great, but I didn't like this one. I didn't like this one. Number 6 is What Is Your Biggest Surprise? This is The World Gives Way by Marissa Levian, and the way I acquired this book was going to Barnes & Noble during their big sale at the beginning of the year, reading a bunch of books, it ending up in my cart because I thought it sounded good, and then me forgetting about it for quite a while. And I figured I would probably never ever read it, but one day I did find the audiobook and decided to give it a go at work, and straight up cried my way through work one day. So the best way that I can explain this book is Space Titanic meets The 100, where like Clark finds a baby and is trying to figure out how to not die. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain this. But it follows a girl named Mira who is on a spaceship hurtling through space, and there is a crack in the side of this ship and it's gonna go down. And it's not gonna be for everybody. It's very slow moving, it's very character driven, there's not a lot of plot, but it was just emotional. It was just moving. I don't know, I really connected to it. I connected to the characters. I connected to just how hopeless this book felt. So if that is something that you might be interested in, I would give it a go. I really enjoyed the writing. I believe that this is her debut novel, and I had a really good time. I will be definitely checking for any more books in the future by this author. Number 7 is Who is a New Favorite Author? And I'm sure you expect me to say Brandon Sanderson, but I'm not. I'm going to say Cat Sebastian. So last year I looked for LGBTQ historical romances, found Cat Sebastian on a list. My family bought these for me for my birthday, and I really enjoyed them. They're just very easy to read, feels just like every other historical romance, but the main characters are men. And this one I believe was more of a enemies to lovers. It had some kids and they were so cute, and this one was a childhood friends to lovers. I like this one a little bit more just because I love that trope more, and I even nearly cried in work because of this one. So I would highly recommend checking these out if you like historical romance, if you like LGBTQ stories. They're good. I really enjoyed them and I want to check out way more. Number 8 is Who is Your Newest Fictional Crush? And I don't know if I have one, so if I have to absolutely put an answer, I'm gonna say Kieran from Blood and Ash. Even though I didn't love this book, I did enjoy Kieran. So like, I guess Kieran, but like not really even. So I don't really have an answer for this one. Number 8 is Your Newest Favorite Character. And I have already read this book. I read it last year or the year before, but I reread it and I just really connected to the character of Camilla Dunn in this one way more than I did last time. I still loved her the first read through, but this second time, I don't know what was going on within me, but she just became one of my all-time favorite characters. I just love her strength and I love her values in this, and even if I would not have made the same decisions that she did in some instances in this book, I still just really appreciate how strong she was throughout it and how she knew what she wanted out of her life, and she wasn't going to take any shit from anybody. She had a vision for what her life would look like, and she made sure that she saw it through, and I just really appreciated that in this book. And I've shared on my Instagram my favorite quote from this as well, and it was a quote by her about friendship, and I just really genuinely enjoyed her as a character, and I think I'll just reread this book over and over, and I really hope they do her justice in the TV show. I really, really hope they don't make her out as like a scorned wife type of character. I just really love her character, and I want them to do her really well in that TV series. So if that ever comes out, when that comes out, I hope they do her well. I hope they do her justice. She deserves everything. She's a wonderful character. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. And I cry all the time, so I just have a story with this one. I read The Obelisk Gate while at work, and it got to a point that it was really, really emotional, to the point that I had to stop, put down all the work that I was working on, and try not to hysterically sob in the middle of my cubicle with both of my coworkers to the right and left of me. I prayed that they were not going to look at me, because I was for sure like red-eyed, tears streaming down my face, and like almost to the point where I was like moments. Yeah, no, very embarrassing. But this one, yeah, that's my story of a book that made me cry. But everything makes me cry, so it's like not an unusual story, but it was memorable. Number 11 is a book that made you happy, and there's been a lot of books that have made me really happy, but one that I wanted to put in is one that has helped me like shape my mindset recently, and that is Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you're not a self-help person, like that's totally fine. I even kind of think that they're a little bit gimmicky, and I think that some of these points in here were things that you can just find in a typical YouTube video or an article on like BuzzFeed or something, but there were a few parts of it that just really opened my eyes to like the negativity that I have in my life, and just thinking that I can't do anything, or I have to wait until this and this all line up in my life. So it was just kind of like a mind shift for me, and I needed that because I have been sitting in a lot of grief for the past few years, and so it helped me kind of figure out what the first steps I can take into getting myself into a better mindset and getting my life into what I hope it can look like, because a lot of plans have been derailed in the past year. So yeah, this is just one that like made my mood feel happier overall. I've kind of been in a self-help reading mood recently. I don't know, I just need a lot of motivation and drive to not be on my couch and watching TikTok all day, and I want to just feel better as a human. So I figured that books like this will at least help guide me into a starting point for all of that. So yeah, that's my answer for this one. Number 12 is, what is the most beautiful book that you have purchased this year? And there's been a lot, but when I read this question, I just instantly thought of Watch Over Me. I really want to find flowers and stuff and take a really pretty aesthetic picture with this. I just really enjoy the color scheme of it, the flowers and her hair. I don't know, it was just like the first one that came to mind, so this is the one I'm talking about. Number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I've grabbed 4. First up, I need to read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Everyone has already read this one, and I think it's just basically a bookstore kind of romance. Sounds amazing. I really liked Beach Read. I really liked People We Meet on Vacation. I made a video all about reading both of those ones, and yeah, I'm just excited to get to this one eventually. I also have FOMO with this one too. So that's the first one. If I don't read We Hunt the Flame, I think Nat will no longer be my friend. I'm just kidding, but she has said that this one is really, really good. I don't really know much about it, but I do know I have to get to it this year. I also recently just bought like 20 books, and Defy the Night is one that sounds really interesting. When I was reading the description, I kind of felt like it had Tangled vibes is what I'm feeling from it, and even the cover just kind of reminds me of Tangled. I think it's a beautiful cover as well. So this is another one I have to get to. And the fourth one I'm gonna say is The Way of Kings. I want to read this immediately. I want to drop everything and read this book immediately, but I've seen that the audiobook is 45 hours, and that just intimidates me so much. So much. I don't know why. I know if I listen at work like I have with all the other books, it's only gonna take me like about a week to finish it, and like a week for a book is not a long time, but for whatever reason my brain tells me that if I read this book, it's the only book I'll read in a month. So I'm scared of it, but I want to read it because I want to know what Stormlight Archive is all about, because everyone is obsessed with it, and I, again, have FOMO. So I will get to this by the end of the year. Will I finish it by the end of the year? We'll see. but I will get to it. Are those hummingbirds? Oh my gosh, there's 2 little hummingbirds. Wow, I need to sit at the window more often. I always see cute little animals out there. Of course, my camera dies right when we get to number 14, but number 14 is who are your favorite booktube community members. And like everybody, I do watch Books and Lala. I love all of her videos. Chandler Ainsley, love all of her videos as well. I really enjoy Sid Bookworm's videos and just her general vibe. I feel like she's such a cool person and I really love all of their videos. So other people that I always watch, and I'm sometimes really terrible at watching everybody's videos right when they come out, but I save everybody's videos in my watch later. And of course Nat, I love Nat so much. She is just such a great friend, and also I love her videos, genuinely love everything that Nat puts out because she puts so much effort into everything, the way she speaks about books and how much she truly just breaks down a book and explains every part that I would love and not love. I just really trust everything that Nat puts out. I also really love Em and all of her romance recs. Abby Salter, I love all of her recommendations and all of the fantasy that she reads. I love Randy Lynn, she is just so kind and I love her recommendations as well. I could go on and on. I just love everybody in this community and it makes me so happy to be a part of it all. And that is the mid-year book tag video. Thank you so much for clicking on this one and watching it. I know everyone else is putting it out too, but I really appreciate that you decided to watch my video. And if you want to talk to me more about books, I have my Instagram linked down below. I am on there every single day and I would love to chat. If you also want to chat with me elsewhere, I have my Discord for the fanfiction readathon as well as the Story Continued book club. It is all in one, linked below as well, and I'm on there every single day chatting with friends as well. You don't have to be in the book club or in the readathon to join that Discord. We would love to have you over there. But if you have made it this far in the video, please leave in the comments what your favorite book of the year is so that I can add it to my never-ending TBR. But I should have a video out very shortly. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye.